1 year after my dad abandoned us, my mom got engaged and said that her fiancé only wants my brother to stay with them and I will have to figure life out by myself. 2 weeks later, on my 16th birthday, my grandma gave me her penthouse apartment that made their jaws drop, and now her fiancé wants to adopt and get ownership of the apartment. Hey everyone, this is my first time posting on Reddit, and I really need you guys to advise me because I'm lost. I just turned 15 3 days ago, and my grandma gave me a really special, wonderful gift. She transferred the ownership of her penthouse apartment to me. My grandma doesn't live there, she lives in the suburbs but has owned the apartment for a couple of years and stays there occasionally when she wants to be close to the city. I was really thrilled because, so far, this past year and a half has been terrible for me. First, my dad walked out on our family. He had always been a bit of a workaholic and never had time for me or my mom, but even then, this still came as a huge shock to me. My mother didn't even tell me about it until my dad moved out of the house silently almost a year back. Apparently, they had filed for divorce already by the time they told me about it, and my parents had decided that they couldn't live together anymore because my dad was just too overwhelmed with everything. What exactly was overwhelming him? I had no idea. He didn't even say goodbye to me in person. He texted me one last time after he moved out and told me to be good. That was it. I didn't see him after that, and soon enough, my parents were separated. Since my state doesn't have a long waiting period, my mother got to keep the house and had full custody of my brother and me. My dad did have visiting rights, but he hasn't put them to use so far, so I don't know what's up with that. As if that wasn't bad enough, about 2 months ago, my mother told me that she had been dating this guy, let's call him Robert, for almost 3 months. They were in love, and she didn't want to waste her time since she was not getting any younger, and that's why they had gotten engaged. I barely had any time to process that my mother was seeing somebody new when she told me that she was engaged and that this person was going to be my stepdad. It was just a lot to take in, and I was really not happy about it because I thought 5 months was too short a time to get to know what kind of person her fiancé was. But she told me not to worry about it. She introduced me to him 2 weeks later, and he seemed really closed off and aloof with me. However, he behaved quite differently with my brother and was very playful with him. At the time, I only thought it was because my brother was just 4 years old, so it was probably easier to be more playful with him. But a couple of weeks later, my mother told me something that completely changed my perspective on both of them. 2 weeks back, my mother told me to sit down with her and informed me that the reason her fiancé and she got engaged so quickly was because he had been offered a really great position, and he was about to take it up. But for that, they would have to move away and live out of state. They intended on leaving me here with my grandmother because she didn't think that I would want to leave everything behind with them. However, I told her that I would be fine with moving away if it meant that I would get to stay with my mom because I had already had my dad walk out on me. I didn't want the same with my mother as well. But she tried to convince me that it was a bad idea because my school was here, all my friends were here, and I was happier here. But I insisted on accompanying her. Eventually, she just blurted it out. She wanted me to stay back because Robert only wanted my brother to come along with them since he was young and could still build a good relationship with him. But I was too old, and I would never be his daughter in the true sense. Apparently, he did not like the fact that I had tried to tell my mother that 5 months was too quick to be engaged to somebody she didn't even know properly. He thought that I was still stuck mentally in the time that my mother and father were married and wouldn't be able to adjust to him. My mother believed the same, which is why she wanted me to stay and figure out my life on my own. I was really hurt by this opinion of hers because if nobody else, at least I expected my mother to be on my side and not abandon me just because Robert wanted her to.